that truth as you watched the All-Star
Well,
game?
there were jersey designs, there were people of all shapes and sizes that I was delighted to encounter for the very first time. But our first name that we do know, of course, is Kawhi Leonard. The Spurs have agreed to trade Kawhi and Danny Green to the Toronto Raptors for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a protected 2019 first-round pick, according to our colleague Adrian Wojnarowski. Kawhi has reportedly made it clear that he has no desire to play in Toronto. So, Bo, how should Kawhi be feeling today after finally getting moved out of the place he didn't want to be?
I mean, it all depends on what you mean by should, right? What does he think is going to happen? I don't understand how, they don't seem to understand how this works. The team has your rights. If you're still under the contract, you don't want to go play for Toronto. I get that. That's what the option is. That's where there is for you to play. And I feel like Toronto kind of needs better PR because Toronto is dope.
Yes.
Dope. And this dude has demonstrated that he's willing to leave money on the table. Go ahead and pay a little extra tax and go live that Toronto life.
The way Kawhi Leonard should be feeling, of course, remains a mystery to us because we've mostly heard from his uncle via proxies and or his agent, who's his own complicated tale in this through another proxy potentially. But he should feel like he did, on the one hand, get one-upped by Greg Popovich. If you were thinking that you were going to use your leverage and your threat to not play to get to LA, Greg Popovich had other ideas for you. You got to tip your cap to him on that. But the second thing is, he is going to a great city, and he also has a better chance of making the NBA Finals now.
He's going to
That's
a better
the upside.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't bad for right now. If you want to go to the Lakers at the end of the season, that's fine. What I don't have any indication of, where is he willing to camp out for a year? Like, if this isn't the place that he's willing to go for a year, where is it that he's willing to go for a year?
This is a contender with great fans who line up in the cold outside of the arena.
Well, it's also fair to ask the question, is he surrounded by amateurs? Right? The people that are handling this for him, the people that are doing his business. He's got an agent that isn't really a basketball agent. I think Rick Bucher wrote about this for Bleacher Report, how people in the league don't really know him. I was reading a story about how the dude's dad put an infusion into this company, and then now
the agent's dad.
Yeah, the agent's dad. And now this guy's the one that's handling things for Kawhi Leonard. So it's him and your man, Uncle Dennis.
Uncle Dennis,
and
who the Spurs greatly dislike.
all we know about him is that they don't like him and that he's his uncle. Who's in charge here? Who's running this? What is your play? Because we don't want to go to Toronto. What's your plan for getting out of it?
If you are sitting in that situation room for Kawhi Leonard and you are going to make the argument that it is wise for him to sit out games, you will find a lot of people who are otherwise pro-player, in many respects, horrified.
No. The game got to have rules.
Yes.
Like, if you don't want to play for them and you want to retire, all right, knock yourself out. That's what it is. But this isn't going to go the way that you want it to.
No, you're not going to get those allies.
No, you're going to have to play somewhere. You said you didn't want to be in San Antonio anymore. You're not in San Antonio anymore. It could have been a lot worse.
Yes.
It could have. And actually, the best part about this, I've got some sound here of Kawhi Leonard and what he thinks about all this.
Oh, really? That was startling multimedia.
Next card is DeMar DeRozan.
Yes.
You may have heard he was involved in this same trade. Chris Haynes reported that DeRozan met with Toronto Brass in Las Vegas during Summer League and was told he would not be traded. But after being traded for Kawhi Leonard, DeRozan is not backing off his claim and is, quote, extremely upset, according to David Aldridge in DeMar's Instagram story. Pablo, does DeRozan have a legitimate reason to be angry?
As a human being who thought he had formed relationships that superseded business, sure. But if you are that person who thought relationships in basketball superseded business, you were also quite naive. I understand that DeMar DeRozan loved Toronto. I understand that he had a legitimate best friend in Kyle Lowry. I remember doing Dan's radio show, Levitar's radio show, and they talked about themselves as Pinky and the Brain, this duo that genuinely got along, and they both wanted to see this through to the end. But nah, man, this is not how it goes. Kawhi Leonard Can you blame your GM if you are not DeMar DeRozan for making this deal? I think Masai Ujiri came out great in this.
No, you don't blame your GM for making the deal if you're DeRozan. You blame him if he lied to you. And I do think you have a reasonable expectation that if you ask the man, are you guys looking to trade me? And their response there is, no, we would never trade you. And then they trade him for basically what amounts to a rental, right? So the lie is one reason to be upset if you're DeRozan. The other part, what they basically just said was, we can't do this if you're our best player.
Correct.
That's why this was a great trade for Toronto, no matter what anybody
Absolutely.
thinks. They kickstarted a rebuild, except before the rebuild actually starts, you get a year of Kawhi Leonard, where Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the conference. Like, that's how they managed to pull this. It was brilliant in that respect. But now you get to be mad when people lie to you, but you're going to have to move on.
And that is fair if it did go down like that. And yeah, this was part salary dump because I think Ujiri and the Raptors front office came to a realization over the last year, one that many people outside of the organization had already arrived at, which is that DeMar DeRozan cannot be the best player on a championship team. That said, if you are DeMar DeRozan, it's okay to be this sad. I am sympathetic when your IG story looks a little like this.
Yeah, man, he's down. He was down.
Ooh, you told one thing and the outcome another. Can't trust them. Ain't no loyalty in this game. Sell you out quick for a little bit of nothing. And the nothing is where I would quibble.
Hey, I mean, it's 1 year. It's 1 year. He says, soon you'll understand. And then it goes a little bit farther. And, I mean,
look, DeMar, people have made jokes. Right. DeMar escaped LeBron, and now he's in the same conference as LeBron. But imagine when Kawhi Leonard, should he stay true to his word, actually goes to the Lakers. And in 2019, DeMar DeRozan is staring down the barrel of LeBron James and the dude he was traded for.
Now what I want you to do, imagine that bittersweet moment where DeMar DeRozan is at his crib and he's in his feelings about being traded, and he wants to turn on some Drake.
Ooh,
because that would because you're right, he needs to relate to something. He needs something to soothe him. Except that's got to be a little typical of a situation right now. Like, Drake ain't really a people like that anymore. He plays for the other team now, you know? And Masai just hit him with, I'm just saying, now we can do better.
Yes, Drake must leave the playlist entirely. But the good news and the silver lining is that Greg Popovich very clearly isn't trying to rebuild. Greg Popovich is old enough and Greg Popovich-y enough where we know that he just wanted to keep contending, and he will get the opportunity to do that.
Well, no, they're not contending. They're not contending with him.
Well, they're going to try.
They weren't going to contend with Kawhi Leonard, but they will be good. And that's enough, I think, for where he is in things. I'd be damned if I was his age rebuilding.
Speaking of people of a certain age, Josh Hader is our next name. The Brewers reliever came into the All-Star game last night and gave up 4 hits and a 3-run homer, but that wasn't the worst part of his night. Oh, no. Folks started digging through his old tweets and found numerous racist, sexist, and homophobic tweets from Hader. Many of these tweets were about 7 years old. He's about 17 of that age. Well, let's take a look at what he tweeted, Bo, because there is a lot. A whole lot.
Whoa, I hate gay people. Ooh.
Gay people freak me out. This dude comes in with pony shirts and a pony mal bag. Hashtag the bleep.
Yeah.
And then just...
I don't even understand this.
Just the straight up KKK.
Oh, I think I know what that means.
White power lol. Could have used the white fist emoji if you want to do that, though. Wow, haha.
Yeah, is that word, that in.
Yeah, the ends.
Wow.
Here are the ends.
Yeah, those bottom two are bleeps. They're just bleeps. And yeah. Woo!
I mean, we have seen cases along these lines. Josh Allen, our friend White Dante, but this is an order of magnitude, both in quantity and explicitness, I think.
And breadth.
Than those. Yes,
right?
just
the span.
The spectrum of stuff that he said that was offensive to so many different people. And we have Mr. Hader's post-game explanation that he gave after all of this went down during the All-Star game. If we could play that video.
It was something that happened, when I was 17 years old, and, as a child, I was immature, and I, obviously said some things that were inexcusable. That doesn't reflect on who I am as a person today, and, I'm deeply sorry for what I've said and what's been going on, and like I said, that doesn't reflect any of my beliefs going on now.
How did they live this long? How did they stay like this long?
I mean, no deletes. Obviously, when you're a kid, you just tweet what's on your mind, and that's what's on. I'm ready for any consequences that happen for you know, what happened 7 years ago. Like I said before, I was young, immature, and stupid. And there's no excuses for what was said or what happened.
What do you do with Josh Hader? How do we view the adults in light of the 17-year-old?
Well, part of what makes this tricky is, I don't know about you, I'd never heard of this dude in my life until this happened, right?
This is how America met
like
Josh Hader.
People were sending me this stuff during the game about him, and I'm like, why am I paying attention to this? Oh, I had no idea he's an actual all-star competitor. You know me. I'm not big on the Twitter time machine.
No,
I'm
we're
not big
not,
on,
neither
I'm
of us
not
are.
big on going back in time and doing this. I am not necessarily inclined to hold what you said at 17 against you at this point. But when you say I was young, I was stupid, I was immature, okay, that's about what you were. What is it right now? Like, what about, is the only thing that changed about you that you got older? Like, please tell me what happened in your life of living in baseball clubhouses that brought you to this path of enlightenment that apparently you have found right now. That becomes the question that I have in these moments.
And the Twitter time machine does become more relevant the older you get, because it's one thing to be 14, and look, all of this is arbitrary, right? But if you are close to serving in the Army age, I think some thoughtfulness and probably some regrets should have taken place before the press conference. Like, you forgot that you had said this?
Yeah,
stuff?
no, that's the thing. He absolutely had forgotten that this had
And that's
been there
troubling in a
before,
different
that it
way.
happened. But I mean, we're dealing with something different. What I thought was interesting, he was like, when you're a kid, you tweet like this. Like, we're not people who grew up with this,
and
right?
That's a
like,
big
we
difference.
didn't have this when we were younger. So I don't know in that regard. The idea that you're going to put this off on maturity. No. There's a lot of 17-year-olds that ain't kicking it like that. Like, yeah, you do ridiculous things at young ages. Totally. I can get that you have matured since then. But the problem with those is not that they were immature. Maturity typically just means I know better than to say this out loud.
Yeah, that's what we saw, what we read in part was beyond the pale even of immaturity. But let's find out how other people, perhaps, at this game discovered this news, because this is how it all popped off.
Well,
he gave up a home run, and then some stuff started.
Yeah, so let's check this. This is the 8th inning. He has no idea that all this is going on in life. He's just getting rocked.
He's just getting
independent of it, right? So the whole world of baseball is talking about this as it goes on, and they got all these cats out here with cell phones because they don't care if the game counts no more. And they're like, look at this conference. What are you guys looking at on your cell phone?
Yes, Gene Segura's looking at that like, what's going on?
Whoa, say, bruh. Yeah.
That is the face of a man who just saw the tweets that we read.
Or at the very least, that's the face of a man who's not just watching his own home run. Right? Like, that is not what he saw when he looked at that.
No, this time it counts. No, this time someone's getting humiliated because we let everybody have cell phones on the field for the first time for some reason.
Yes. Hold on, we have the other part of this too. If you've ever not wanted to be a particular all-star before, here's Lorenzo Cain, who now has to be the black guy who plays on his team that we need answers from. They're like, damn, who can we talk to? Hey, Lorenzo!
You're always surprised, you know. Like I say, when anybody does something like that, you're always surprised. Like I say, at the end of the day, you know, you gotta give people a second chance, you know, and you understand you gotta forgive people, and just like I say, move on from it, you know. For me, it's over and done with. You know, he said it. You know, it got out there, and like I said, we're moving on from it. So I know Hader, you know, he's a great guy, and like I said, I know he's a great teammate. So like I said, he was young. You know, we all say some crazy stuff when we were young.
What else can he say?
No, that's a good teammate.
What other functional option does he have? Keep in mind, Riley Cooper managed to stick around on the Eagles long enough to get himself a contract extension. Now, there were some dudes that wasn't talking about him, but that team got a whole lot of black dudes.
Yes.
We talk about a baseball team, right? Like, there's but so much of a stink that Lorenzo Cain can make about, we got to get this guy out of here. They're like, dude, he's an all-star.
And this dude's family was in the stands wearing Hader jerseys and had to take off the
They had to give them substitute clothes.
as the cell phones began lighting up.
They went from pride in the family name to shame.
The worst All-Star game experience I could imagine.
Next name, Todd Gurley. Earlier this month, Todd Gurley told TMZ it would take a lockout to get NFL players guaranteed contracts. The LA Times asked Gurley about those comments, and he chuckled before saying, quote, us NFL players, we're just mad about NBA contracts right now, that's all. I just want like 80 million. Those guys are getting like 150 million. It's crazy. It's insane. Pablo, the NFL makes so much more money than the NBA. Is there anything NFL players could actually do to get paid closer to their NBA counterparts?
NBA players and NFL players must be honest with themselves about one simple fact. they are probably more different than they are alike when it comes to their occupations. And I understand that if you're looking at the CBA and you're looking at, well, share of the pie the NFL players get versus the NBA players. The NBA players get about half. NFL players get less than that. But the big difference, of course, Bobani, is that there are about 4 times as many NFL players on an NFL roster than there are NBA players on an NBA roster. So part of me is deeply unsympathetic to Todd Gurley making this demand because the math just does not support it.
The math doesn't support it. You're right about that. But there is a certain level of humanity that you have to interject into this when you think about how the NFL players feel about this. And they are killing themselves for less money.
They are.
Right? Like, I mean, that's a huge part of this. These guys are taking such a beating for it. So, yeah, they want more money because, yeah, they are underpaid. When you think about what the pain is that you got to put up with to play in the NFL, I get where they're coming from on that level. Then there's the other level, which is just a little more petty, but you got to understand it, man. These cats are kicking it in the same nightclubs, man. These cats are getting at the same women. They're in the same spaces. Everybody knows who the NBA players are. We don't know who these dudes are. There's hateration, holleration, all up in the dance.
You can leave it right there. Mike Trout. Bomani. The Washington Post, speaking of anonymity, revealed that the best baseball player in the world, Mike Trout, has a Q-score awareness rating on par with NBA role player Kenneth Faried. This means there's a good chance you don't even know who Mike Trout is, basically. Is this Q rating thing a good comparison? Is it meaningful to you?
I mean, if you think it means something at any other time, then it has to mean something right now, right? And like we talk about Q ratings, we use that kind of as a default term. I think we actually need to send a shout out to whoever handles business for Kenneth Faried. Because his Q rating, like, forget about where Mike Trout is for a second. The Manimal. Maybe everybody needs a clever nickname because the fact that he's even this well known. Good for you, buddy.
Yes, if I'm Kenneth Faried, my business card now says basketball's Mike Trout.
Yes.
But there is a bigger reason why we are here today, and it is because while we were watching the All-Star game last night, we actually got to hear and see, but mostly hear, what Mike Trout sounds like.
I've never heard him before.
So let's go and do that right now.
What's your fascination with weather?
You know, my pops got me into it when I was a kid, and you know, my whole family, we all follow it. You know, but I'm on another level in the off season. I like to track storms. I get to follow up with Jim Cantore, the guys from the Weather Channel. It's I just have a blast with it. You know, it's kind of. I mean, their job's hard. It's predicting Mother Nature. You know, it's tough.
What do you know?
White Mike!
Who knew?
White Mike!
Who knew? I had to say it for the longest that we needed a cat like White Dante in the league, and little did we know it was Mike Trout. What do you think in real life? Does Mike Trout talk with his hands or talk with his hands in his pockets? Which one? I had no, like, this is so great now.
This is why Mike Trout needs to be in front of us so that we can realize that he is a vision for a new and post-racial
But also think about this for a second, right? What was my first thing when you sent me this clip of Mike Trout talking like this? What was the first question I had?
Can he hoop?
Can he hoop? And guess what?
I have done some reporting, and let's go again to Mike Trout in high school.
There we go.
And this is how one Mike Trout may come to sound like one Mike Trout.
Shout out to the dude standing to the left of Mike Trout in the way that we're looking at it, because he got the classic high school, I'm hard, look into the camera. I took a lot of pictures like that in the mid-'90s. And Mike Trout was not just on the team, man. They say Mike Trout can hoop.
That's his second best sport.
That's right.
And in fact, yet more archival reporting, Bomani Jones, has revealed that we have some Mike Trout beating an NBA player footage.
What?
If we can watch some of that.
Yes. All right, we got Mike Trout.
Hidden threes.
Yeah, that Draymond?
Draymond Green in the Warriors facility.
Yeah, they're playing a quick game. They're playing pig, because I'm assuming Draymond Green was in a hurry, and he had no idea who this guy was. Right? He's like, I figured he was cool with the owner. You know? He didn't know anything about who this cat is.
But here, the pride of South Jersey executes.
He's pretty quick with it. Hey, little did we know. And then...
This is a lot, Bo. What do you make... Given all of this information, what do you do with the greatest baseball player of all time?
Look, I got thinking about this, because Rob Manfred has said that people who are complaining about Mike Trout not being a bigger brand, they're like, look, Mike Trout really isn't putting in his half
Look
on
at
making
Mike
this
Trout
happen.
for why that
now,
is.
that being said, Tim Duncan got famous in spite of not doing anything, so there's a different argument. But I now think we got to use the fact that he is so anonymous for a positive. I think that we can use Mike Trout to help improve the diversity numbers in Major League Baseball. Because think about it, right? Nobody knows what Mike Trout looks like, right? So if we could just take some audio of Mike Trout talking on the radio and just doing ads, and they just hear Mike Trout talk, and you tell people that Mike Trout's the best player in baseball, and all they do is hear him because they'll never see him, maybe you get some more kids out here trying to play Major League Baseball, right? That's how you play it off. Look, Mike Trout's already dedicated to this cause. Look at these Mike Trout Instagram pictures right here.
Yes, please, let's get the Mike Trout celebrating.
Yeah, there we go. Mike Trout right here.
Exhibit A.
That's right. Mike Trout is a man of character, a man of principle. Look, Mike Trout.
Exhibit B.
He's here for Jackie Robinson. He's young to be invested in this way, too. Like, that's that dude, man.
But it sounds like you want Mike Trout to follow in traditions set forth by Jackie Robinson.
I am saying that if people don't know what Mike Trout looks like, that they don't know what Mike Trout doesn't look like. And if they find out that he's out here hooping and he's the best player on the baseball, can he rap? Like, if Mike Trout can rap, we can put all this together and hoodwink America.
If you went to high school with Mike Trout and you ever heard him rap, get us at High Noon on ESPN.
But the problem, you never know with them high school raps.
Oh, no.
You might ruin it.
Hey, kids, when you can't watch, you can listen to this show on Apple Podcasts and the ESPN app. Bomani's show, too. And Mom, do you know who I am?